quick. Oh, hello, everybody. Hello, world. I am Crownson's Corner on Instagram at Crownson's Corner. Ryan, blah, 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 blah. Our other host for the Healing Chefs podcast is
Cameron, Big Worm 4444 on Instagram, and today we've been graced with Taylor,
Hello.
also known as
Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea. Well, Sweet THC 2.0 this time. I missed my original.
Yeah, they do that a lot. That's
Yeah.
why I have a couple backups and stuff and have ideas for names just in case people.
I never thought of that, but
Yeah.
it's possible.
Yeah,
I just can't keep track of them, so I'll think of it, and then I'm like, wait,
yeah.
let's actually do work on all of these.
The Insta police and the Anyway, so
Hey, it's a problem. It's something we got to deal with, you know?
Yeah, especially with us all dealing with cannabis and whatnot. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and jump into our first segment, which is Cannabis Journey.
Yeah.
Digitally.
You borrowed.
I borrowed indefinitely.
I was about to say, borrowing is a nicer term.
I borrowed indefinitely some of those sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So if you haven't watched or listened to us before, Cannabis Journey is all about how our guest has found cannabis, and basically it's in the name, their journey with it. So I just wanted to hop out there.
Yes.
So if you could enlighten us and our listeners, watchers, how did you find cannabis and where you at with it now?
Oh, well, originally I feel like all of us have seen my age and older, have seen the weed commercial with the melting lady and the deflated lady.
Oh, yeah.
That was my first experience with cannabis, and I was like, oh my Lord, this, has to be awful. And then I started dating.
For a second, I thought you melted and
Oh,
I was
no.
deflated. I was like,
We're
wait,
not
that
in the
happens?
psychedelic section yet.
I'm like,
okay?
wait, I need to try whatever that was. But go, sorry.
No. So I saw that and I was like, oh God, this looks, terrible. Let me, believe everybody. We were doing the dare stuff and whatever. And then I started dating a drug dealer. And that I feel like explains it a little bit.
Hold on, like Dare was like 5th grade.
Yeah. And I was stuck in that mindset. And then when I went to high school.
Okay. I was like,
context. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Yes.
We
started dating a drug dealer in middle school. So when I was a freshman, and he was smoking weed, and I was looking at him and all of his friends having fun and laughing, and eating food and making weird food. And I was like, maybe they lied to me. So I tried it.
Maybe they lied to me. I like that.
Yeah.
So I tried it, and my anxiety went from like all the way up here to down here. My lack of focus was a little bit more dialed in. I've been dealing with back problems since I was about 5, and luckily you guys don't deal with the womanly side of things, but I discovered that, weed also helped with that. And after realizing that in myself, and then this was prior to my mom passing away, so she got to see, I don't think that's a proud thing maybe, but she got to see me using marijuana, I guess, for a few years before she passed away. And her and my dad kind of just agreed on the fact that my grades were doing better.
Yeah.
I was more focused, I was more involved. I was less irritable, and it just kind of seemed to be a good thing all over. And that's kind of what really dived into it. And I started trying to figure out more of the medicinal properties, because that's what I used it for. I don't necessarily like being intoxicated in any manner of where I'm not in control.
I got you.
My body.
Yeah.
So, like edibles, not a fan of.
I got you.
But I do know my tolerance. Right?
Yeah. Kind of like I didn't start drinking till I turned 21 because I was always scared of like how it'd make me feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was like, is the drunk be cool? Is he not?
See, my body does this thing where like as soon as it feels the alcohol, my this sounds so weird, but my tongue will go up and not let me swallow anymore. It's like, no, you're good.
This is why I became a bad drug addict. I'm listening to you guys and I'm like, I don't know. I just press go and I just fucking what is that? All right. Not anymore. But I was just sitting here going, oh man.
I
I don't have that. I don't have that in my brain where I'm like, well, now there are times when I have done stuff and I just hit that point where you're like, and something in me. Hopefully, it's like the people in my past and stuff helping me out behind me, going knock it the hell off.
Yeah.
You're at a
But I
point
just
now.
get to a point, even when I used to do clandestine things on the small scale, like all of a sudden I just be like, nope, we're done.
Yeah.
But
I feel like, to be honest,
I just
my
go.
stop on that has to do with a lot of the traumedy section of it. So
Yeah.
like if I feel like I'm getting to a point and I'm around people that I don't know deep in my soul will be like, hey, no, don't do that or protect me. And my body's like, hey, you got your own back. So it's kind of always been like that, I guess.
Yeah.
For sure.
But just in general, I like when I have gotten drunk a few times, I'm just like, I wish I would have spent my money on some bud. Like this
Yeah,
is
for
not really like
definitely
Yeah.
nowadays, as I'm an older guy and stuff, it messes with me. Like the whole next day, I'm dead. Like
Yeah.
if I drink,
Yeah.
like my body just don't. I don't know what happened.
It just
it's not
sits.
stoked
Yeah.
about it. Mm-hmm.
It's just my body don't play no more. It's
It's
like,
Well, the
literally
getting older
poison.
thing, who told us that it would suck this bad? We kept trying to grow up so fast.
I just see
Yeah.
so many people drinking all the time and everything, and I'm like, how do you do? Like my body like hurts and just is like, no, you're done. But I guess you just push through. I
Well,
don't know.
well,
I mean, there's
also,
other factors that go into helping
Well,
stay
yeah,
awake,
and
you
then
know?
mental. I mean,
I'm
I know
thinking,
with
Well-
other stuff with my problems.
yeah, no, I was just thinking like the people who drink, maybe they don't want to think about smoking at all or want to think
Mm.
about any other alternatives. So it's like I have to stay in this lane. Like if you
okay.
work for a certain job, you have to take
Oh yeah, 'cause
drug
you
tests
can't.
periodically. It's like, well, I can't smoke. I guess I can drink, and then you just force yourself to get used to it or something like that. You know?
Yeah,
That's true.
but yeah,
That's true.
cannabis is the way to go for
Yeah.
well, at least for me. But so that's what like you started and kind of like I did too. But mine started with alcohol, where I found out, wait a minute, they're not telling me the truth. Because I tell you what, when they at Dare though, when they passed around that briefcase, I'm like, what?
This
Look
is
at
for
that!
you.
Look at that! Like that was the worst for me. Like for other kids, they're probably like, oh my god, that's scary. I'm like, look at that! That one's blue, and that one's. I'm just like so
These look
excited.
like candies. What can we do with them?
I know.
Right.
I'm like, can I borrow this?
Right.
But
I'm
that's
thinking of-
5th grade, dude.
yeah,
Like
thinking of
I was already set up.
Well, like Pulp Fiction, you know, in the movie, like when they're in the diner, and then you never see what's in the briefcase, but it's just glowing.
Yeah,
That was
that's
what
pretty much. Yeah, we'll clip that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right there. It's perfect.
So you say you don't like with edibles and stuff right now.
Well,
You know
I mean,
your
I still use
tolerance.
edibles. I just am very aware of like my limits, if that makes sense. So even when we go into the psychedelic section, it's the same with that. I'm just very my mindset is very much so too much of anything is too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to be mindful that I am able to make as conscious decisions as possible where I know that I'm still going to be okay with whatever I said or did at the end of the day, regardless of whatever intoxicant I have in my body.
That way you can be accountable at every single time, not like, I was a
Yes.
little high, so maybe that might be the reason why it didn't work. And then at that
Precisely.
point, you're not sitting there resenting anything, or you don't
Or
have like,
wondering like,
yeah,
what did I do? The amount of people that have reached out to me and been like, hey, I know you're the sober person at this event. Can you tell me? And I'm like, yes, I think you should probably consider not doing this for a while, or, you know, hey, this and this. And I already have a problem with, I guess, when we go into the mental health section, dissociation. So
yeah,
that's something I don't have control over. So
Yeah.
I don't want to take something that's going to make me feel something that I already know I don't like.
yeah.
You
So
know?
yeah, it'd be like, let's say for example, ketamine, for example, because it has a disassociation. It's like that. That's already kind of
That-
running in your body on its own. Like you wouldn't even need to do it possibly, because then it'd just be like another level.
I just have to be, you know.
Why don't we just go
triggered
ahead and
enough.
jump into the psychedelics? Because it seems like we have a lot to talk about. Because you just said ketamine, and I'm like, let me.
I have something to say.
Oh, yeah.
So if we could just go ahead and jump ahead to the trip tales.
Oh, wait, hold on. One
Oh.
last thing on the journey, though.
And I do have one question.
my
though,
bad.
Too.
I'm
Well,
bad.
no, I was just gonna say, when you first started smoking, do you have any cool stories or funny stories like that first time you started smoking? Like, you know, how was it the first time? Did you like smoke? Was it out of a bong? Was it out of
It
a
was
pre
out
roll?
of a
Was it
freaking apple.
out of an apple?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so I kind of always have a little bias towards smoking and fruit. I like it. I think it just kind of reminds me of that first time. But I was super upset when I found out. I love glass art. That's one of my photography and glass art are my
Okay.
two favorite. And I always would go to the craft shows and see the glass blowers and all that stuff. And then bongs and pipes. I was like, what the fuck? This is so cool. So I first smoked out of an apple, and then I learned about the bongs and the pipes. And I will say one of my favorite things in the beginning was I ended up taking over more so the marketing and sales side of that
Okay.
for the bud side. And I met this woman, and she was about 65, and I had a zong that was about like this high.
Okay.
I love that.
And
Yeah.
God,
Songs.
my favorite thing ever. And she called it the friendship zong because you needed two people to light it.
Oh, okay,
And
because it's so far. Yeah.
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 and so she literally would just come over and grab some stuff, and then she'd be like, let's smoke out of the friendship song. And that woman was one of the main reasons why I started getting more so into the medicinal benefits of marijuana,
Yeah.
because she ended up getting breast cancer, and I told her to go to California to live with her daughter because it was medicinal at that point.
Yeah.
And she pops up at a vendor day, and she's like, "Oh my God, Taylor, I miss you." I was like, "You're not dead?"
Oh,
So like there's so many cool little aspects. There's a lot of people in this industry that were people that I knew back in the day,
Yeah.
and it's just really cool seeing people kind of thrive and grow. But I will say my favorite thing is definitely the smoking out of the fruits. Meeting that woman, she was awesome. And smoking, hotboxing your car, wear swim goggles. I'm
Where-
telling you, it is.
what?
Where? Yeah. Where? So your eyes don't burn.
Well, because you're used to
Oh, yeah,
dying,
your eyes
right?
get all gummy sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, you're used to not being able to breathe. Everybody coughs, but it's your eyeballs that get fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know. All I can think about is like the time I used the mask bong,
Oh.
and
When
of
you
course
try
I
to
was,
breathe, you're
I was the first one. We were at the Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri, and I put that thing on, and I'm like, I'm gonna go first. I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so cool. I hit that thing, and I'm like, oh, there's no oxygen in here.
No.
It's still going.
Yes.
And then every time
I'm just pulling harder and harder. And at one point in time, like I can't see in front of me. There's so much. My eyes are burning. I'm
the
like
strap
about
on the back. Too, so when you
yeah.
try to get it off, you're
Oh yeah.
like,
Oh, I'm a vet. I know how to put a gas mask on. I had that shit locked in,
Oh,
like
no.
like
it was
tight,
stuck.
like I could have been saved if I had a filter on there for real. But like I when I pulled that off, no one did it after me, and I couldn't
Okay.
convince anybody because they
I
all
wonder
saw me
why.
dying. And then yeah, so we put that away, and I'm like, well, I got sick.
I have
yeah,
not seen
so
anyone use a gas mask in so long.
it's so
I
stupid.
feel like
It's so
when you first
stupid.
start smoking.
I feel like
or,
you
know,
have
it's
to
a
do it when
novelty.
you're first. Yep.
Yeah.
But I also I just brought this up. I saw someone had on their story some bongs that you can't see inside of.
Okay.
Like they're fancier, and they're like designed, but they're not clear.
you
they're not
can't
see
Okay.
through.
Yeah, they're not
Smoking it?
transparent.
Right.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
used to have a bong that I'd have people come over, and I just like let them hit it, and I wouldn't tell them shit.
That's the way to
And
do it.
and they'll just be like, boom, ah, and die because it hit so hard because
Okay.
they couldn't see what the hell was going on.
You got that
Okay.
yellow
And
wall
then
going
it-
on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess you never think about that because like my bong is not transparent, but like I remember like sometimes.
But you know it.
I know it though. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're
Sometimes
just
people hit it.
ambushing people. Like, no,
I never
it's
thought of
small.
that. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You're
It,
fine.
it won't break. That's why I bought it. But it's yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Funny.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have one more thing for cannabis or?
It was just that, and then before, right, literally within a few months of marijuana legalizing, so my grandma had breast cancer, and she was in the clinical trials for the FDA-approved weed drug that I never remember the name of.
Is it Marinol?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then my mom got to use the actual final version of it.
Mhm.
But she was a school teacher and a very good noodle, so I could not convince her to use the actual plant. So that is why I am so, gung ho about the medicinal benefits and making sure that people actually know what the qualifying conditions are or how to listen for trigger words or the smaller things, because a lot of the people in this industry think, well, now it's recreational, so we don't care about medicinal, which they weren't really too keen on actually the education of that anyways. But
Yeah.
there's people life is expensive. The economy sucks. We ain't getting paid shit. So like a lot of people are not going to spend that money on a medical card. So
Yeah.
there's still
I do.
medicinal patients. Same here. I'm a
Yeah.
parent,
Yeah.
so I'm like, just in case.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
the other benefits from the card too, you know? Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
cheaper,
and I
all that
wonder
stuff.
real quick, the Marinol though, I wonder if that even has any CBD in it. I
I've
bet you
never
it's
heard
only
that.
THC.
It's
So I even had it back in the day, like before I even joined the army. I know, like I was at a party and someone's mom had it prescribed to them or something,
Okay.
and we had some, and I guess some people took them, but then also we took some and like popped them open and put the liquid on a joint and
Oh,
shit. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Like we're,
Better.
I mean, you know,
Maybe.
it probably destroyed it
Is
from
this
the
the
heat.
okay go part that you were talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Yeah.
This is yeah. If I'm gonna do it,
Might as well
we're
go
gonna do it.
big.
Yeah.
But oh, we just don't do stuff anymore. But yeah, no, I like that was like shoot early 2000s and stuff. So like I wonder, but I wonder if it even has CBD in it. So it's probably just like getting you like maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
I've
Have
seen
to
more
look into that.
benefit from RSO than I have of whatever pharmaceutical concocted weeds.
When my
CBD,
body's hurting real
whatever.
bad, I make sure I make something heavily with RSO to like heal me from the inside.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And a lot of the stuff, just like what we know what pharmaceutical companies do, they often use something for something else. So maybe it was
Right.
like made a long time ago and it's like, well, this is kind of like
That's a whole nother
marijuana. Maybe we'll just see if we can resell it as this product or something like that.
that's a whole nother beast in itself
Oh
because
yeah.
the politicians can make money off of patents.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
all
no,
the
it goes back and
all
forth.
the pharmaceutical companies and all these people and the FDA that ain't even for us.
Yep.
All they do is continue to like once the patent goes away, then they like
Rehash it
mix.
up.
They take this and this, put
Yep.
it together, and oh now it's for this. And then the politicians somehow buy into that patent, then it gets pushed
Well,
through and
it's for
weird.
money.
Yeah,
It's for
the
those
FDA is not
purposes.
for us. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, the crazy thing about the
you've been
medical
trying to
things,
grow for yourself with the chemtrail.
right? It goes too deep. You just got to move out to like the middle of nowhere. You'll be safe. You know.
For
Well,
now.
Probably
yeah.
not. I think we're on a flat Earth, and nobody's gonna believe me. The firmament. Anyway,
Yeah.
so what were you saying, real quick, and we'll jump into the next.
No, I was just saying, just how everything is just kind of set up. It's not really conducive for like all the positivity, just
Yeah.
for the negativity. So
Sicker people means more money, and my dad has been in
Any business?
nonprofit healthcare shit his whole life, and we get into this argument consistently. He's like, "Well, doctors take an oath to do the best care for people,
just
and why?"
words.
And
But
I'm
if
like,
you heal people, there's no money in that.
mhm.
If you
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I
you're
worked
right.
for Kirby. I'll explain it real quick, and we'll jump into the next segment, the Trip Tales. But I worked for Kirby Vacuums, right? So Kirby Vacuums put out
Hold
an
on, you were a
expensive.
vacuum salesman.
Oh yeah.
It's
He's
a
been to
great
everything,
image.
man. He's done so
Yeah,
many things.
I could sell you one right now, but anyway, um, these things actually work years and years down the line and stuff like that because they're made out of real metal and stuff like that. Whereas if you go to the store right now, you look at all the vacuums out there, they're all made of what? Plastic, right? Take that thing, flip it over, look at it. There's one circle on one side of that vacuum that all that beater bar is trying to hit all that stuff into, right? So it's inefficient. Would you cut your grass 1 inch at a time? Why would you vacuum yourself 1 inch at a time? It doesn't make any sense.
So it's taking a
So,
small
and
bit
then
of
why is
metal
it
and
made out of
spreading it.
plastic? So it breaks. So you have to buy another one.
Yeah.
They're manufacturing obsolescence into
Yes. Everything.
everything.
So,
I think
And why
that's
would they
we're so
do that any
stagnant.
different with the business of health?
yeah. And then one fact is like let's say cars or anything, as you continue to make something, that should get cheaper to make as time progresses. So stuff should go down as time progresses with costs and everything.
Yeah, but they
Unless-
package it as the new technology costs
Yeah,
more,
definitely.
which is bullshit
Yeah,
because we
then,
already
like,
had
can I
it.
get the old car who doesn't have anything? But that
They're like,
still
no.
costs a lot of money though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all bullshit. Anyway, Trip Tales.
Yes. No worries.
Laser. So, Trip Tales is all about psychedelics. You want to talk about your experience, any fun stories, sad stories, scary stories,
Shaman-induced stories.
Oh, my Lanta. Well,
astral projections. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the spiritual side of things on that kind of stuff, that's a little bit longer than a tiny segment.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah.
when it comes to psychedelics, I definitely am a fan of psychedelics. But to tie back into what I said before, I'm very intentional with all of the things that I do. So there has been a couple times where I have tripped absolute balls. And I will tell you that I definitely have understood why people have more so the guides and, you know,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
ways to break it down because I will say people that are pretty traumatized or have PTSD from any situation should definitely think about that prior to doing psychedelics.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
put myself. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, there's a couple things from the last trip that I did that I have decided to take a hiatus on psychedelics for a while until I'm prepared to
Respectable.
unpack that.
Yeah.
But I love doing the microdoses for shrooms with some ashwagandha, some vitamin B, and some vitamin C, I believe, is what goes into the capsules, 0.25. And that I absolutely love. It's not too much, it's not too little, and it helps with the day to day. It's way more conducive for my functionality, I guess, as a human being, as a
Yeah.
mom, as a person, as a friend, everything.
It's the creature on this planet.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
as the existence, it's much
In the simulation.
calmer. Yeah,
Yeah,
whoever's
sorry.
doing my
Whatever.
simulation
The
sucks.
Matrix. Yes.
Because
Well, no, they've so this kind of takes back to the last thing. They just made it. They've done it so well and so conducive that it stays that way. Like,
Mhm.
so
It's
for
just
example,
stagnant.
yeah. So the small example would be like houses are built with no space to like build to grow anything. You know. So like, how could you just want to start growing stuff?
Well, and then it's
Like, I just go to
illegal
the
in some
store.
areas too.
Yeah.
Like, which makes no sense. But I mean, it does make sense if you're just looking at it as a selfish, greedy standpoint. But that's just
Yeah.
not helpful.
Yeah, so then that's why you have your microdose to just let you kind of be like, let me not think about these things. Let me focus on how I can be a higher level creature, a higher vibration oriented creature, and work on empowerment and work on just enlightenment.
And that accountability too. I feel like a lot of people don't like the psychedelics because it is slightly a mirror of
Yeah.
things.
it's a bit of like, cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
They just like, people don't want the real, like, they don't, like, even myself at certain points in time, I don't really want to like address a lot of things that I got going on because it's just too much at one point in time. You got to like unpack stuff slowly. So
Yeah.
like, it's a bit of cognitive dissonance where I'm just like, I'm not even gonna think about. I'm just gonna.
It's those blinders that
Yeah,
people like
exactly.
having on.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, it makes sense because accountability is something that most people do not want to learn, do not want to understand, do not
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
do. They instead would just like to be louder
hmm
and more dramatic and shift the topic. The chaos talk is something that
It's
it's very frustrating because we could get a lot of things out in the open, solved, figured out, fixed if we just taught people how to be able to have that accountability. And a lot of the times that I've done psychedelics with people, there's this one girl who, bless her soul, she, every time we would trip, she would look at me and she straight up would be like, "Your mom's dead." And I'm like, "Hell yeah, she is." Like, what,
yeah. Like
what do you
I got a lot
want?
of
Yeah, she is.
yeah. My
Right.
yeah.
What
My
else do you want me
dad's
to say about that? Like, I can't
dad's
call my
dead.
mom and be like, "Mom, this person said it." Like, I'm just chilling. And she'd be like, "Your mom's dead, and my parents are alive, and I'm a complete asshole to my parents." And
You're
I
being
just
a
look
complete
at you.
asshole right now, too,
Right.
little
Yeah.
girl.
And I'm sitting here like, we have this conversation every time, and you still are doing the exact same thing
But maybe
every time.
maybe she's trying to realize something because like so for example, my cat died like a month ago.
I'm sorry about your cat.
Thank
Yeah.
you. But like I've had animals before, but I never was hurt or hit so hard from it. But like now I have a new like, respect for like interactions that we had and just
Yeah.
that we won't have. Like a lot of times it's like I'm trying to coerce the cat to do what I want it to do, but the cat's gonna be a cat. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna pee where it's gonna pee, it's gonna do what it's gonna do. And I have to accept that. and just know that it is what it is. You
Mhm.
know, I'm not going to force it to. And now it's like, cat's gone. I'm sad that I will never have to deal with any of those things anymore. Now, like,
Those annoyances are things you miss.
yes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, but maybe she's trying to maybe realize to herself like, hey, you know, I need to be nice to these people because they're actually here because I don't have the opportunity because you can't, no matter how hard you try, you can't turn back time. You can't
No.
force something to happen again.
Yeah, and something I've learned more recently, and I was talking to you earlier about is you can't force like you can't force the cat to you can't force people to be what you want them to be.
Yeah,
Like I've been trying to like talk to some girls and stuff like that, and it's not working out because we're just in two different places.
yeah,
And I'm trying to like say like, well, why don't you do this? But they're like, well, I'm not there or nothing like that, and I'm just not willing to like,
yeah,
the both sides are just not like willing to like do either one, and that's okay.
yeah,
But like sometimes you just have to be okay with not being okay too.
yeah,
It's that part for sure. And it's also like that girl, for example. I definitely decided that it was a better idea to cut ties on that
yeah,
because
for
I'm
sure.
trying to have my tree bloom and blossom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
people who are just wanting to bring up instances only when they're in, an intoxicated state of mind and never actually do it.
when they're not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I can see
something
where
that
you're
I
coming
can't.
from. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
why wouldn't we talk about this before? But you wait till I'm higher and shit, and then you're
Well, and
gonna.
I'm sitting here
Ex-
also tripping.
yeah,
Like, you just
exactly.
said
That's what
my
I'm.
mom's dead, and I know she is, but like now I'm just like crying
Oh
while trying
yeah,
to talk to you.
trying to
But
make
I'm a
her
grown
back
ass
trip.
man. If
yeah,
you like, if
Yeah,
I was tripping
no,
balls and you're like, your dad's dead, it'll be like, yep,
yeah, yeah,
yep, and then it's just going right into it. So like,
yeah. It's
yeah,
not something you would even say. No, are we 12?
yeah,
right.
Yeah. Are you trying to just get under my
I
skin?
think people just say some super out of pocket stuff to me just in general because there's, just in the cannabis
Shrooms
industry.
though
Yeah.
can be like alcohol. Like I watch people just like go weird and shit and like
Okay. And just
aggro on shrooms. I've seen
okay.
it all because like I think it hits something in there into their psyche, into their personality or something that they didn't want to see, and then they're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, and then they're just freaking the hell out, and then
Yeah.
it's just like a drunk person.
Yeah.
At the most part, they have no control of what they're doing and stuff like that.
Well,
So
and it's
that's why
that
you said you
fear.
got to be careful,
Mhm.
Yeah.
especially
Be around.
um with ketamine that you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
See, ketamine is an interesting one.
Like for you, if like when you I forgot the word, but
Disassociate.
yeah, this is ours. Thank you. For
Disassociate it.
yeah, that for sure. That ketamine. If you don't want to disassociate, don't do it,
That's literally
because
what it's
that's
for.
exactly what it does. It turns everything into like kind of this surreal um world and stuff. Like
Well, and it
it,
depends on how much you take too, which
well,
most people
I
don't
go.
understand
Yeah.
how to like,
Because like I
you
already
know.
like myself already kind of feel like disassociated with reality, like just normally.
Yeah, then it wouldn't be for you.
No.
Well, I
Yeah.
Because
mean,
it's
there's
gonna
a
put
difference between derealization and disassociation too,
it'll
though.
push some people, and I've tried to help some people lately, and they're already kind of back in their life and their personality and stuff. That only sends them further,
Yeah.
and that's not what they need. They
Yeah.
need to like a little push
Get yeah.
forward. So I mean, it all depends on you. I
Yeah,
mean, I can't.
exactly.
I'm not a doctor, but
No.
I don't trust them either.
I mean, you're a healing chef, though. It says right there.
We are healing chefs.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, also shout out Daniel Ghost Creations.
Yes.
Good talking to you. Love you, brother. I don't know why I just did a thumbs up, but
Better than the finger
Yes,
guns. That's what
yes.
I was expecting.
yeah. Love you, brother. But yeah, so with the ketamine for me, like eh, I go, I just go right, and I get to a point where I'm just like it doesn't affect me the same as a lot of people. Like a lot of people talk about K holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what a K hole is when they take too much or a lot of ketamine. I don't know about too much, but a lot of ketamine, and they just kind of feel stuck, can't walk, or like, and you're just kind of stuck there.
Like to me, like I have a friend. Basically, he has that sleep paralysis. I'd imagine that's that.
Kind of, sort of.
Wake up.
But-
Way more fucking intense. Like watching people in K holes is so weird when you have been in a K hole too, because you're like, oh,
Wow.
shit.
It doesn't do it to me.
Like,
It does. Like, I would have to.
see, I have not been
Oh.
around ketamine.
I would have
in
to do
years.
like a half gram or something like to put me into that spot.
Yeah.
But like
everybody is affected differently. Like for me, like I've never blacked out from drinking before.
Mhm.
I just get to the point where like I am fully aware of what's happening, but my body just can't function anymore. I'm just like throwing up, and I'm just like done. I'm
And
dead.
you're in here like
I'm
fucking
like,
Christ.
oh, body, why can't you do what I need you to
Mhm.
do right now? It's like, because you poisoned me.
That's
Yeah.
kind of like an out of body experience type of thing, though. I
So
feel.
with
Yeah.
ketamine, when I do it and the dosage that I do, what it does is it sets me back, like all my anger and all this stuff that I've like accumulated from being a veteran. Like I'm still trying to deal with all that stuff constantly. That's why we're healing chefs, never fully healed.
Yeah.
Working towards it
Yeah.
1% better every day. But like using like what it does is it sits me down, like especially if like psychedelics I use a lot lately for the energy.
Yeah.
That's why, like, if you ever look up in Amsterdam, the shops where they had shrooms when it was okay, were called energy shops.
Mhm.
It gives you energy. Now, it also will
Fun
twist your
time.
mind,
Yeah.
but like if you're ready for it, you're good.
Mhm.
But so I used it when I have something to do. It's gonna take me a lot. It's gonna stress me out, and I don't want to break my laptop.
Yeah.
So usually like editing or something like that, and I can sit down and relax and stuff. But it doesn't do the same thing that it does to a lot of people for me.
Yeah.
I'm still way in control.
Got you.
Like I can drive.
You're
Like
saying ketamine or shrooms?
ketamine.
Oh, okay.
Shrooms I don't like because it messes with my stomach. The chitin
Well, it's
in
food
it.
poisoning, so-
Yeah, and
Yeah.
my body the whole time is just like,
Like, what did you do?
what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I can't relax. That's why I prefer gel tabs and stuff. I don't get
Yeah.
that stomach thing. That's what, like if you guys see the food that was prepared for plating or whatever, that was all prepared while I was on gel tabs. So yeah, I'm the acid taking chef. And
I mean, I feel like that's helpful and creative.
it gets me
Yeah.
it gave me a little
Instances,
energy. I got the music going. I'm dancing. I'm having a good
You're
time.
focused
I'm
actually on
focused
your
as
craft.
Yeah.
fudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm not hurting nobody. I'm just yeah.
Yeah.
And I've really reduced my intake of a lot of different things. Like I used to be tripping like 2 to 3 times a week, if not more, but now like I might do it once, or like last week I was just like I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And last week wasn't a good week for you, but you were still able to kind of make it through the week without using that same potential crush for yourself.
yeah,
Possibly.
we'll talk about that in the
Yeah.
next segment.
See, I feel like that's super important. I really, funds wise, if I was able to have, insurance cover my microdoses, I
Oh,
would
it'd be dope.
1000 fucking percent do it.
Oh yeah.
So
Ooh, if I could do the IV ketamine, but that's in a place with a doctor
Yeah,
and
which-
Yeah.
and babysit and everything, but it's so expensive.
it's super expensive, and I have to look a little bit more into it because the times that I have done ketamine, granted it was like probably a decade ago, I don't see how it would help me personally
Mhm.
with my issues. I find a lot more help in cannabis or shrooms, especially breaking it down to know the different strains kind of
Yeah.
affect me this way or
Yeah.
that way.
Mm.
But ketamine, for me, I just don't know where that help would kind of come into place. I feel like it would be better to do a little DMT trip real quick. But
DMT scares me.
Yeah, I
I've tried
love
it
DMT.
twice.
I'm at it.
DMT is great if you are aware of how long it lasts, which is a very fucking short ass time, but it is a long experience.
It is so
Time
intense.
slows down.
Yeah, it's like
So-
you're chilling and like depending, I guess, on your beliefs or your openness or your spirituality, like you can have conversations with different,
You got to get
people,
there though. So
Yeah.
you got to get there. So
That's very true.
so let's explain that real quick. So DMT for the most part, usually it's about 3 hits, pretty heavy hits in, and then you kind of can astral project. Each time that I've tried to do it, I had some sort of like liquid, and I tried to dab it.
Oh yeah, no, see, I smoked mine.
Yeah, and and
Anyways.
I was trying to heat it up and I dab it, and I probably lost some of it, so I didn't have any more to go. So the first time,
He's good
and
to
I
stop.
and I had the Good Mythical Morning. It's a YouTube show on there, and they were going, and all of a sudden, as soon as it hit, I'm like, oh shit!
That's what happened to me too.
And
Oh, man.
everything
And I
turned
said that out loud, just
ev-
like that.
everything turned into like tops, spinning tops, like different shapes, spinning tops on poles, like everything, like the whole visual thing, their bodies and everything was all split up, and I'm like, no, it was just literally unzipping reality.
It's that slow-mo voice for me though that got me too. I did DMT, and then the next morning I did not realize that the bong that was loaded, A, had no water, and B, was not marijuana. So I woke up first thing in the morning, took a fat hit, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Literally at that. And I was like, I'm going to go outside, lay down, and look at this beautiful sky.
Well, yeah, that's what
See
I was
you guys
thinking.
later.
I was like,
I should have gone outside.
Yeah, outside is where it's at.
Yeah, because I feel like every time I've tried to do like mushrooms, like I have to either I can stare at some art inside, or I can't watch. You can't do anything. I can't watch TV.
I'm always
Unless
like, I
you're
better
watching,
not
like,
go
National
outside.
Geographic, but find ones that don't have the killing, because that's not really fun when you're like tripping balls. I will say.
I watch all the aliens and stuff nowadays.
Does you stare at sky at nighttime?
That and flat Earth and shit like that, and I'm just like conspiracy theories, but like a lot of it's coming true. And if you look in just real quick, if you if you look in the Bible, they say they separate the water from the water. That's the firmament. I don't know. Just kind of Google that.
A lot of the stories from the Bible too predate to like the Emerald Tablets and things like that with the flood, and then you also have
Anunnaki and whatnot.
I just saw something where they were saying that feet is actually, they were using that to symbolize more, sexual nature, because somebody was like, well, why did they say this person took off their shoes and touched their feet in the middle of the desert? Wouldn't they be cold? And they're like, well, actually they use this to infer that. So a lot of the things involving feet was actually, sexual acts. And then somebody was like, wait, didn't Mary take this person's shoes off so she wasn't a virgin? And like it was a whole like
weird,
so it's I love the internet.
Yeah. That's great.
I was just gonna say that the word conspiracy theory was brought into our vernacular back in like the 60s. And then as soon as it was introduced, it was then basically discredited or created to discredit anything.
Yeah, anything that they do, they make a joke out of it.
Yeah,
but like if you look into our language, we're already into witchcraft.
Oh yeah, we have,
because our stuff is called what? Spelling. Okay. Look into all that. I promise. I promise you. I promise you. You're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, what? No. Like everything I learn and see this stuff, people think I'm crazy and stuff, but I sit down, I'm a smart man, and I'll sit there and I'll listen for a while, and I'm like, no. And then I'm like, oh, yep, shit. And I'm like, how do I unlearn this? Like, how do I unlearn that the special of the day at the restaurant is the stuff going bad? I don't want to know this shit. Why
did you say that?
A lot of it, unless it's a chef like trying to put on or something. I'm talking about like, we're not talking about it like a chef place. We're talking about like
Applebee's,
or something like that. And they're like, we got a turkey cranberry sandwich. Like, why?
That's why Christmas was like 3 weeks. 3 months ago.
It's July.
Christmas in July, man, it's a thing.
We'll go ahead and hit a break, and then we'll come back for the mental health as well.
Habari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Iesha. Habari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
Like my favorite chef, one of the plates that we put out, he likes to say, Matty Matheson, beige and unremarkable. So we're going to change a little bit of that. But that's another conversation we'll get into in a second. But we'll go ahead and mental health as well.
on top, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like what Pope and Pine said though. Like last
Omar,
time. Yeah. What he said, just I don't know. He's not trying first. He's just trying to just do the
That's
best he can do.
that's the thing with everything nowadays, and what I learned is it's not about competing.
No.
Just we all can be creative and get our stuff out there. And just do it smart, and don't be in a meanie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not cuss as much.
I
Shit.
feel like this is
Fail.
kind of important though, because there's definitely competing is definitely important, but in
Yeah.
a manner that is built with
With growth.
positive intentions, right? And with an
Yeah.
actual purpose for it.
Right.
Where if we still had the same shit that we were smoking, or people, not me, but like back in the 60s, you know, as of now, instead of people trying to, you know, do better
Yeah.
for the greater good, there's that. But people are in that mindset of let's just step on people and get to where we can for some free products, some promo, and we're competing, but our product or our people are not actually on par. We should be competing with ourselves to make something that we're more proud of ourselves, unless it's an actual like, hey, here's this competition that we're all entering into. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people kind of miss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's healthy for the competition and whatnot.
Well, I always look at it. I guess I look at it this way, like, because if you work together conducively, so like for example, with the growth of marijuana. So I remember like back in 2007, 2008, people had to use those hot halogen lights to try to grow any weed. And
Oh
until,
yeah,
like,
metal halide and yeah.
yeah, and that was the only option, one of the two. Whereas now you have LEDs, and that's just the conducive of just like people coming together, figuring out new technologies to be able to. And now you have that much better, time growing weed, growing marijuana, or whatever, just from that growth and just that.
Yeah, like I want to, like I've tried to live like this, but I don't want to be a part of the crowd. I want to push that motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. So whatever industry,
I want to lead from the front, and if I see like we were talking last night with somebody, like when we see something that we don't think is like good enough or something, or we can help push that envelope a little bit, I want to be those people.
Well, I guess what I want to do is I want to set an expectation, set an example for people to try to follow, or people to try to do,
Just
or
a
be.
set guideline at least.
Yeah, just as a guideline, just because like I don't know, just if you work together, then instead of people stepping on your toes, and then they only get to that point because they stepped on your toes at that point. If they worked with you, they could have gotten to this extra.
Oh,
Absolutely, that's
the choir on that one.
Yeah.
I got to have a whole bunch of people in this weed industry explain that to you that they were trying to explain that to me years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's all. That's what it's about nowadays. Is about being creative and whatnot. But
That's all about mental health, though.
Mental
too,
health is
'cause
all about.
At that point, you're just trying to get whatever you can get as fast as you can get it.
That dopamine chase.
Yeah, that, and then I started listening to this book. It was a woman who was a former drug addict who had a parent who tried to commit suicide multiple times, and I'm just kind of starting the book, and it's about relationships and just how you have to know yourself first before you give anybody else. But just like kind of pointing out that she would always get with the same type of person who had like these same obvious flaws, because that was something that would feed her just the energy that she needed, even though it would end up ending in the same way every time she was still doing
it. Just gave me goosebumps. It's
Mm.
that cycle that people they recognize, and either they want to break it or they're not ready to because they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Big
Whether it's
big
painful
thing
or
is
not.
is recognizing your cycles.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of seeing like in the same way, it's like if you have an addiction, it's like that trigger. It's like, oh, I see that person. They might be doing this. That means they probably have that. Let me go talk to them.
Yeah, I cut off a lot of people that I used to talk to and stuff, and they still kind of hit me up, and I just like I don't like ignore them because I'm not that kind of a person, but I'm just like I'm not gonna. I'm not like can I get a ride down to like 35th and Union? No,
I'm sorry,
we're not.
No.
I'm not doing that.
No. Can you send me some money? No, I
No.
would. I'm sorry, but
Can you get me something? I pay you on the nope.
Nope.
Can I move into your house? I promise I'll get, a second job and get it all together. But instead, I'm just going to screw you over. Yeah.
Oh.
I learned how to stop helping people,
That
too.
sounds more specific to you. Just kidding.
No, that's a cycle for sure, though.
Yeah.
I've definitely...
Yeah, trying to fix
way
broken
too many
people.
people.
Trying to fix broken people, letting broken people kind of use you. That's one of my big cycles.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to break right now.
It's hard.
Yeah, I had a really rough week. If anybody was paying attention, like I tried to get a bunch of shit done. Like my car kept messing up and all sorts of different things, and I was super depressed.
Yeah.
But like I fought through it though. Like we had a plating to do and stuff like that, and I had made these commitments, and I'm like I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I got my ass out of bed, but like it's
I mean,
not.
a few years ago, would you have convinced yourself to do that? Because
No,
I
I
know
would.
there's times I would have been like, "Fuck this,"
Oh,
rescheduling.
I was already kind of
If
like
it's
sending
optional.
messages to people saying like I don't know, I may not do this because I was kind of setting myself up to just not do it, but nobody let me off the hook.
Yeah.
And
Not
that's important to
the
have the people
shout
like
accountability.
out
that
and
in your
shout out
life.
everybody, Cameron, Alexis, everybody that like because I appreciate y'all because I was not good.
Yeah.
That's
No,
one thing that's the hardest and most important that a lot of people don't get.
you have to
And
be vulnerable.
you have to
Yeah.
be vulnerable, and you also have to keep people around you that aren't gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, you're having a bad time. That sucks, bro. Do you want to go get fucked up?" Or,
Yeah.
"Hey,
No.
let's go to this,"
Be
instead of you doing
friends with
that.
someone who'll come get you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or be like, hey, like even yesterday when I was so busy with
Everything.
prepping for whatever, I wasn't talking to anybody. And shout out Alexis hit me up. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Because she knew I was feeling down. Like, check in. I'm like, okay, sorry, I've been doing this all day and so on and so forth. So that was good. But yeah.
At that point, you have a good accountability partner. You have somebody to help you through these times when you wouldn't have been able to do it before. And then
Months and months ago, like before I had my problem, I wouldn't have had nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just by continuing working on this positive path and doing everything. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you do anything specifically besides, you know, I know how you have your microdoses and everything, but are there any books you read? Do you do therapy? Is there anything like that you do yourself to kind of keep you going, to keep you not wanting to,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, so that's a long-winded answer. I have definitely I'm a huge fan of therapy. Currently, I'm not in therapy because my therapist ghosted me.
Hey,
So,
they're
What?
people too.
well, but okay, but here's the thing. I also didn't realize that because my sense of normalcy and the way people act towards me makes me potentially miss things that weren't necessarily professional.
Got you.
So
Mm.
my therapist added me. We're friends on Facebook. Apparently that's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then
Sorry.
this therapist specifically knew my mom before she died, knows my dad. So we all did like separate counseling, family counseling, and then my therapist actually was the person who was like, you need to, cut this person out of your life. They might be, your parent, but the way that they're acting and all of these things are not good. And then he said that I could move in with him and his wife, which realizing all of these things down the line.
Well, I kind of feel like for me, because like I'm doing therapy as well, I kind of feel like therapy is a grain of salt too, honestly, just because like the amount of reading I've been doing, the amount of learning I've been doing from different books, like
Therapists have problems too.
Oh,
exactly,
therapists
there are
have so
people.
many problems.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like one book that I'm listening to about relationships right now, that I'm listening to right now is just like the standard method to try to fix things is they're just trying to do like, hey, you do need to become friends, but like just kind of looking at one level where it's like you really
There's
need
so
to
many
work on
things.
yourself, but do this and that. So like, yeah, I feel
There
like
needs to be clear boundaries for
yeah,
That's
a
the
therapist.
thing.
like therapist counselor.
Yeah, just
Which
because I don't know, because like my last session, I was sitting there like trying not to get annoyed or anything, but like I am frugal, you know, therapy's not cheap,
therapy
but
is
like
expensive as
a
fuck.
period of time, you're speaking about something that's not going to correlate or have anything to do with myself, with what's going on. So I'm like, am I doing like, is this still therapy, or am I kind of just doing? Like, what am I getting from this at
Am
this
I
moment in
paying your
time?
bills or are we helping me right now?
Right. Is this
Yeah,
actually being productive or what? I mean, that therapist, honestly, I went through 12 people to find that guy. And
yeah,
that
and
was starting since I was little. And the most important thing is feeling like you're heard and feeling like this person isn't biased and feeling like this
yeah,
person will be able to respectfully tell you you're fucking wrong.
yeah,
Like, and that's the main thing. And
That's the people that I keep around me nowadays.
Yeah.
Those are the most important ones for sure.
But
And
not the ones that'll keep quiet and then get you all at once. Like,
Mhm.
like I had those. Like
you
the
have to
the
really see
sneak
how
attacks.
different people are, and kind of, it's not the fact people will be like, oh well, you're different people with different people or whatever the case is. And I hate when people say that about anyone, because yeah, you're supposed to. If I talk to someone very, very bluntly, and then I go to my friend who's really sensitive and try to exactly say it, exactly that tone, exactly the words, she's gonna cry like a little baby, and I'm
She
gonna
might
feel
not take it.
horrible. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to really adjust yourself and adjust not who you are and your values and your cores and your morals and your ethics and all of that stuff, but your tone of voice and the word choice you use
Yeah,
for people.
it goes deeper than, so it's like there's two levels to it, because like one example this book gave me is like, if you have a 3-year-old child and you make a face or something like that, if you're not patient enough, the kid is eventually going to make that same face and mirror it too, but it takes a second for it to cognitively be able to do that.
Mhm.
But if you're not patient enough, you might be annoyed and just go do something else and miss that opportunity to connect. But it's like, it's not just the words that said it, it's the movements, it's the emotions, it's the things
Body language, all
that
of
we
that.
don't know about. I feel like that's something we should learn, like in high school, because like if you're gonna go out there and interact with people, like you need to interact with them well, not
You have to learn.
yeah, because at that point,
People
like
don't even understand that. Like I think I said it before. Is emotion, emotere is the root word, is the Latin root word, and it means feeling, like motion from the feelings. Like
yeah,
you have to express your feelings through emotion,
through a emotion,
but
yeah,
you need to, like, also, like you're saying, kind of tailor
Ah,
it. I see what I did there.
specific
Mhm.
way, yeah,
Tailor it to the people,
yeah,
because like we're
so it
not
can
the
be
only one.
understood.
You can't just be like, well, I wouldn't get offended at that. You shouldn't. Like
yeah.
that's
But
the
then, yeah, you're not
simplest
helping
shit.
them out.
No,
No,
you're
so
you're not helping yourself out either,
yeah,
because you're like, as soon as you laugh at a man for falling, you open your own demise.
yeah, no,
So
for sure. Like, so like one example is like, let's say you're with, let's say you're upset, right? And you have somebody listening to you. Sometimes you just need them to say, "Hey, like, I'm sorry. If something that happens, I'll be there for you. Poor baby. Whatever you need for that. Not necessarily like, hey, like,
Solution.
why did this happen? Or because they might misconstrue it and take it negatively. Not that you're doing it negatively, but that's just the way they're taking it in the moment. Like,
Yeah, you
don't
gotta read
offer
the
me
room.
advice. Don't offer me advice right now. I
yes.
just need you to listen to me at this moment in time. It's because you're not, when I ask for help or when I ask for it, then be ready to give it. But otherwise, I just need you to support me here, and just be with me.
Some people just want to be heard, and not, you don't have
Yeah.
to try to solve it. That's the one thing as a man
Yeah.
trying to talk to women that I've learned more recently.
Men,
Like,
pay attention to this.
just shut the fuck up and just be like, "Damn,
We
I'm
are
sorry
smarter
that
than
you're
you guys think.
and I'm sorry that you're going through this," and just listen and talk it out. Don't be like, "Well, what did you do this or do this and stuff?"
Yeah.
Because we think in solution
Yeah.
solution
That's just, yeah.
oriented ways.
And you
That's
guys
the
also,
wrong
Yeah.
way to
No,
say
you,
that,
yeah.
uh,
yes.
we just think like that, and you have to remove yourself and think about, like, okay, maybe they've already thought of this shit. They just want someone to, like, hear them out and share within the venting and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand too. Women operate in a way where we think of things before someone asks about them, usually.
And
So,
you all know everything already, so,
and
like,
it
if you don't, you're
sucks.
gonna find it.
Yes, and it's
I hate it.
just terrible, because like we know and we give people the opportunity, and when we choose to not entertain something, it's because we just can't handle it at that moment, not because we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an inkling that intuition is always right, and it's just, are we capable of handling that right now or not? And then on top of it, when it comes to the solution part, I would say the best advice for quite literally anyone, whether it's in business-ships, friendships, relationships, family, is if you have a problem or an issue or you're upset, before you start, say, either if you're the person being talked to, say, do you need advice? Do you need a solution? Or do you need someone to just listen?
Yep.
And on the other aspect, I just need you to listen and agree with me. I will tell people that all the time. I'm like, I know what I'm about to say. There's a lot of things you could say to it. I've already figured it out. I already know
Love
the
that.
solutions, but I just need to like,
Yeah. I even do that with my mom. My mom's like, "You you can talk to your therapist." I'm like, I don't need to talk to the therapist. Like, I'm gonna talk to the therapist. I'm just trying to tell somebody right now
who knows me?
who
Yeah.
knows me, and I can just be like,
Yeah.
and then just get it out. But yeah.
No.
That's very,
Real quick
very, very
before
important.
we'll go ahead and jump into our last little segment. We'll go ahead and plug talk.
Mhm.
All right, so wrapping it up here at the end, plug talk is all about things that we have going on, promoting ourselves and different things that we like that are going on in the industry or in our lives. So what do you have coming up? You have any more podcasts coming
I
up?
do. I actually have a podcast coming up with Jason Horn from High Maintenance. So the High Lounge, all that stuff. So everyone, well, not everybody, but I have been getting my DMs flooded and the anonymous submission form and everything flooded with people wanting to talk about Jason and have me talk to him. So that was cool because
Nice.
he had definitely been telling me he didn't want to come on it until we were on my live stream and he was in front of people. So I'm excited about that. Then we have the Culture Cup coming up, obviously, as you know.
Yeah.
I am not putting that on. I'm not involved in that in any way, shape, or form, but I will always super support the people who I believe in and I trust. And Cami and Alex are people that I will always, always, always go hard for. So I'm
Absolutely.
very
Good
excited.
people. Yeah,
Yes.
great
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
Super excited to see that. I will be there though. And then I am doing a mansion party for the ladies on August 30th and a meet after event as well on the 31st, I believe.
Money.
So,
Yeah.
so that'll be fun. The ladies event, we're definitely trying to be inclusive and listen and understand that, you know, collaborations can be made and you don't have to exclude people if they have, you know, kind of similar pathways or similar skills. We want to figure out a way to benefit everyone as a whole, just like we were talking about before.
Be conducive and work
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice.
And I'm still working on figuring out a
When is the podcast with
the podcast is going to
Sir
be on the
High, Jason?
31st.
31st.
Mhm.
Okay.
31st.
Yes.
31st.
So probably we'll try to
31st.
do that on the at the mansion thing right before it because I know he usually, well, I think sometimes he's been trying to go to Mita lately. So we'll probably do it earlier in the day, which will be nice.
Mita, it's a party.
Mita is interesting.
First and last time going.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it becomes more networking than party.
Oh, you missed
then,
that. That was years ago, my friend.
Yeah. If
It's
they could
not
just
that
go
anymore.
back to that, because like I'm a vet and I get in free, but other people have to pay a bunch of money to get in there. If we could just not make it like a freebie giveaway party, I would appreciate it. Like I just really want to talk to some people and work
So
on
you're
some
saying you would
stuff.
like an actual networking event that's
Yeah.
people are a little bit more cognitively aware. To
I mean,
be able to
Mita's
talk
the
about
ones that are
business.
making the laws and stuff, and I,
That's,
Yeah.
and but if you could just like,
It felt like I've gone to the bodybuilding expo a bunch of times years back, and it was just like people just trying to get gifts, and that's it.
Right.
Not learn anything, just
Yeah.
see them. Just
they
kinda
will
be there.
not.
all
be
right,
there and actually
so
talk to you
let's
about
just
the
jump
Yeah.
ahead. Anyway,
Nope.
and do you have any?
Let's see. Just trying. A couple of people have asked me if I want to get into doing an agency again and helping out the brand reps in the industry. So
Yeah, dope.
we shall
Run
see.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, keep
Yes.
us posted. We will keep it posted.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and then if you get it going, we'll have you back on, and we'll run it again. I mean, we'll have you back on it anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
Yeah. So for my plug, so we have the Myrcene Kitchen series with Roadrunner Cannabis Co. on the 19th of August. That's going to entail myself. I'm going to do a 5-course meal. It's going to be paired with some very fine rosin. It's going to
Nice.
be at the downtown Clifton in Tucson. We're going to have balcony seats for VIP. We're going to have basically just a good time, opportunity to network, meet. We're going to have a harpist playing. We're going to have a DJ set. We're going to have a meet and greet afterwards, so you can meet some local people in the industry and just kind of get your name out there and just speak. And
Nice.
looking forward to having you all come. So thank you.
That'll be
Yeah,
dope.
and we also, if you see on our story, we did a plating for the Arizona Culture Cup. We put our hats in there to be chefs for that. It'll be a little more of a compound effort next time. I did a lot of the prep and stuff, but we have a few things to change. We like what we did, but there's a few things that we're going to change. But we have that coming. But definitely the 19th. Check out the dinner that Chef Cameron is putting on. That is all him. It's amazing. And other than that, we'll have more clips coming out. Let me see real quick who our next week guest is, because I didn't do this last week, and unfortunately, we had to go down to one this week. Maybe we'll go do two next.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm not, but just if anybody's listening and didn't get on today. Next week is AZ Dank with Crack That Seal,
Yes.
and
Really
Perks the Amenity, the rapper from Phoenix. So, all right, everybody, be good, be clean, as always, be safe, smoke up, and trip out. Bye.
Peace.
Like, she asked me, she's like,